I was thinking today about how easy it is to forget ourselves when we're caring for someone else. When you're in the middle of it, especially if you're caring for a loved one and still trying to hold the rest of life together, self-care feels like something other people get to do. It sounds wonderful and we know we need it, but it doesn't even seem possible when you're in the thick of caregiving. And caring for someone else is monotonous and mentally and physically draining. When we were younger, 10, 11, 12, 14, even 15, we couldn't really go anywhere on our own. Our world was pretty small. We were always home, helping, doing what needed to be done. Back then, especially in the really early years, I didn't even realize how heavy it was. I just thought that's what life was supposed to be. But self-care was much easier to do then because children don't really need much to be happy. As long as I got to be with my family, see my cousins, have the occasional friend or cousin sleepover, life was beautiful. And it helped that my abuela was mobile and she could still talk, and the majority of the caregiving responsibilities were handled by the adults, mostly my father and my aunt at the time. Then my sister Ria and I entered our teenage years, kind of alongside the crazy breakout years where Abuela was an escape artist, as we like to call her. And those years were plagued by noise and jump scares, and we were really just rolling with the punches daily. Ria and I actually developed ulcers during those years, which is something most people in our extended family don't even know. And self-care started to look different then because as much as I loved being with my family, I needed some time to myself. So sometimes I'd wake up early and go for a walk or catch a movie with my friends whenever I could. And Rhea and I weren't crazy teenagers. We had strict parents and responsibilities most teenagers don't have. But also, we were trying to grow up in this environment. And that's a whole other book we're working on. But the point is, we did our best to relax where and when we could. So weekly spa nights were a must for us. As were regular sibling fights, yada, yada, yada. The frustration had to come out, so it was healthy. Then in my 20s, the occasional time spent apart was not cutting it. I mostly remember my early to late 20s, my early to mid-20s, as the last stage of Abuela's Alzheimer's battle. And that's when things really went south. Strokes happened, loss of speech happened, loss of mobility happened, other caregivers were introduced, other family illness happened, accidents happened. There was just a lot of stuff, and this was in addition to life outside the house. Inside the house was chaos all the time, but we were also in college and we had jobs, and there were other outside factors that were separate from this caregiving journey that by now defined us as a family. And I think that what we all needed at that time, especially during all these stages, but toward the end of our caregiving experience, maybe the last 5 years of it, we needed regular reprieves from the situation at home, and definitely we needed breaks from one another, but we didn't really know how to make that happen, or even how to ask one another for more help. It's complex, and we've written stories about it, but we were on a schedule that made caregiving feel like a thankless job. And some of us never really got over the comfort of being on a schedule that so many years of living like this allowed. But still, we did our best to have family days, and we found time to give one another breaks whenever we could. I'd let my dad sleep in on his days off so I could get my grandmother up and ready in the morning, or things like that. And we did try to go out as a family. We did have to pay babysitters if we wanted to go see a movie or do literally anything together, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And now I'm a mom, and I am caring for my small children, and it's wonderful. but I am regularly touched out and in desperate need of several breaks throughout the day. And sometimes taking even one short break isn't possible because I am a full-time stay-at-home mom with no assistance apart from my husband, and he owns a small business and he works like a dog just to make ends meet in this economy. So I have to be creative, and I try to listen to myself more. And I'll ask myself, why am I losing my patience? Am I tired? Am I hungry? And what actually makes me feel cared for? And sometimes the solution is simple. A quiet cup of coffee and reading my Bible in the morning, or maybe taking a bath when everyone's asleep. And when I'm touched out, I grab the stroller and my kids and I take a walk. Or maybe I do my makeup or my hair, or something that makes me feel feminine and not like I just rolled out of a dumpster. And the point is, I'm responsible for my self-care, which often requires creativity. And while it doesn't fix everything, these small actions make me feel calmer in the moment. And I will say that taking care of my grandmother for so many years did develop a lot of patience in me that I don't feel particularly patient. For example, when I'm at my limit at the end of the day and my kids are just really pushing it. But, my husband will say, wow, you're really patient. You have the patience of a saint. And I don't see it, but I know that was developed through all of those years of caregiving. And that's just invaluable to me, to be able to just freely express that patience. Oh, I'm amazing. No, just kidding. I'm just saying that is an example of a good thing that came from the experience. And I'm trying to get better at it because the truth is, caring for myself doesn't take away from the care I give others. It fills me back up so that I can keep going, and with love and with even more patience.